Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio joined. Talk about everything that happened last night and, the future of the country, all that good stuff. Congressman Jordan, always a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Good to be with you guys. Hey, before we get to the State of the Union, I just got to say, I totally agree with Clay on the ice cream thing. We were driving, I forget where last week, but you don't go get ice cream by yourself. You take your wife.
All right, wait, hold on. Congressman,
thank you for it. Yes.
Where are you on male flute players?
I don't know. I didn't catch that one. But was that part of the ice cream debate?
No. I said, in my opinion, that I was anti anybody who decided to become a male flute player, and it turned the flute universe was fired up at me.
Guys shouldn't play the flute. It was his old
I said guys shouldn't play the flute. But you're with me on this. That I appreciate you. It was about 50-50, and then all the left-wingers who would defend Biden for anything suddenly jumped in the poll. Buck was blown away that it was as close as it was.
Yeah, no, but I totally that's my experience. You don't get ice cream by yourself. But the flute playing thing, I'm just thinking about our high school band, which I wasn't in, but I don't remember any guys playing the flute either. So it was the guys played the drums.
Congressman Jim Jordan,
I've always said you have great common
people
sense
on the mats during wrestling to deal with the band. I understand how this is going. All right, Congressman, we got you now. Now you got to tell us. Look,
I'm with
give us your no
Biden.
BS. Wait,
he's giving you praise here. What are you with Buck on?
I'm with you on Biden. I think Biden's running. I thought that even before last night. I think last night kind of sealed it for the crazy left. I think he's going to be their nominee for sure. So I'm with you on that one, Buck. But the ice cream,
you can be. It's good that you're right sometimes and wrong other times. So you're right on this one, which I appreciate. I think the artisan ice cream debate for those of us who are in urban centers with walking areas is a little bit different, but we'll put that aside for right now. So Biden's going to be the nominee. How do you think he did last night? As you're, assess this like you're a coach and he's the opposing team, right? Like, yeah, we know he's a dishonest commie and he's corrupt and all that stuff, but. Where do you think that he was weak? Where do you think that he actually managed to score some points?
I mean, I think he was weak from the get-go because he was 20 minutes late. Took him 10 minutes to walk down the center aisle, for goodness sake. And then the first thing he talks about the foreign country. At our State of the Union, it's the State of the Union. Maybe you should start off talking about the United States instead of Ukraine. So and then of course it was right after that. It was all political because he goes right from Ukraine to January 6th and then right into abortion, and it's the typical left-wing baloney for the rest of the time. I thought the start was just made absolutely no sense to me.
To start with Ukraine is bizarre. I totally agree, even for a Democrat.
And it was like it was so literally he doesn't. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is where he's starting, but that's just. Then there was other crazy thing like the idea that you're going to build a port in Gaza. I mean, think about it. Israel's our dearest and closest friend, and you're telling Israel, "Hey, we want you to win the war, but by the way, we're going to build a port in Gaza, and we're going to supply the enemy." What kind of mess? Like this is just sort of War 101. It seems to me you don't do something like that. But that was sort of a big item in his speech. Again, all catering to the radicals of the left of the Democrat Party.
We've been talking in the first hour about the fact that. Obviously, when they put the teleprompter in front of him, and a lot of people don't understand this, but he's going to read off the teleprompter. I actually thought by far the weakest moment for him, it's a little bit when you get him off script, when he tried to address the Laken Riley situation and actually said Lincoln Riley, who's the head coach of the USC football team. And then you couldn't even really understand him, but he seemed to try to diminish her death by saying there's thousands of other either illegal or legal. You can't tell because he slurs so many words what he was saying.
Right.
Did you feel like that's kind of when you have to get him off of his script, that's when it reveals how little depth that he has, and that's where the mental faculties aren't as strong as they used to be?
Yeah, of course. And in fact, we've actually subpoenaed special counsel Robert Hur. We want the audio tapes because that's what Robert Hur said was the reason he didn't indict this guy for deliberately, willfully, intentionally mishandling classified documents. But I did think that was a big moment last night when he said Lincoln Riley instead of Laken Riley. I thought that was huge. But when he kind of gets off script, and then of course the abrupt change in emotions. 1 minute he's kind of reading and shouting, and the next minute he's really shouting, and then he throws in a whisper here or there. So I think that's kind of a concern as well.
Speaking of, Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio, and Congressman, what do you see from the way they're trying to position immigration specifically. They realize it's a huge issue, right? They realize a
Yep.
big problem. They can't ignore it anymore. But it's as though they want us to forget what Democrats have done for this is now the fourth year under Biden and shift the blame to Republicans for not going along with Democrats to not fix the problems that Democrats created in the first place.
Yeah, and everyone knows they're the cause. We actually had a hearing on this yesterday in our committee, and Joe Biden. I asked the witnesses, "Did Joe Biden cause this problem?" He goes, "Yeah," and Joe Biden told us he was going to cause the problem back during the debates when he says we want. He literally said this in the Democrat presidential debates. We want migrants to surge to the border. Well, they took him at his word. Go figure. And they came, and we're on pace now to get to 12 million migrants coming in this country in the Biden presidency. So the idea that somehow they're going to blame, it's Trump's fault, it's Republicans' fault, it's climate change is the reason this is happening. Like, no, you guys had deliberate, intentional policies that created this mess, and now you see that it's bigger. It's the biggest issue. Polling across the board shows it's bigger than the inflation and all the economy problems. It's the biggest issue because of things you guys willfully, intentionally did.
I saw and thought and believe that it is still kind of crazy that he did this to last night, Congressman. He directly lectured the Supreme Court about their decision on Roe v. Wade. I think it's weird. I don't know about you. I think it's weird that the Supreme Court is there for the State of the Union in the first place, personally. But the fact that this was such a campaign-style speech that he would take advantage of them being there and say, you're going to learn that there's a major issue now that women are going to respond to your opinion.
Yeah.
I thought was really outside the pale of what I've ever seen at the at the State of the Union before.
I do think the only time I could recall there was something similar is when I believe President Obama called out Alito on the Citizens United decision maybe 10, 12, 14 years ago. But yeah, that was unusual. I didn't see, but I was told by one colleague that they felt like even one of the Democrat, more liberal members of the court had kind of they kind of keep a straight face throughout the whole thing anyway. But I don't think that was appropriate. We're a system of separate and equal branches of government. Don't show poor form and criticize the Supreme Court who are sitting there during the address.
Congressman, how do you think we're looking for control of Congress on the GOP side going into this election? Obviously, so much is focused on Trump v. Biden because now it's more official, even if we've seen it coming for a while. But what are your thoughts on how the GOP can maintain and really grow a majority?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, we're going to win West Virginia in the Senate. We got a great candidate. I think Bernie Moreno, I was campaigning with him on Monday in Ohio. I think he's going to be our nominee. I think he can beat Sherrod Brown. We got a great chance in Montana. McCormick is he's an old wrestling guy, so I really like McCormick as well in Pennsylvania. He wrestled for West Point, and super guy. So we got good Kerry Lake in Arizona. We got good candidates. I think we take back the Senate. Of course, I think President Trump's going to win. If you have the election today, I think he wins going away. And if they run on the kind of garbage they were talking about last night, that's the message to Americans. I think that's good for us too. So I feel real good about those, and I think we keep the House. We got the majority there. We need a few more seats so we have a stronger working majority, and it's easier to get things passed. But I feel really good as we're 8 months away from the election day.
We're talking to Jim Jordan. I know you're in the room itself, and sometimes it can be hard to know how that's going to play on television because it's a very small room and it looks sometimes very different in person than it does on television. But we've gotten some questions about the Marine dad who was up in the upper gallery. I don't even know if you could hear the disruption.
Yeah.
His son was evidently killed in part of the Afghanistan withdrawal, and there were reports that he was arrested. Now, the reason why I bring that up is there were many pro-Palestinian protesters who were blocking the president's route to the Capitol, such that he had to go a different way. I don't know if any of those protesters were arrested. Do you know anything about the dad who was arrested and what, if any, charges might be brought and/or what Republicans could do? I can't imagine charging a dad because he wants some sort of acknowledgement of his son who died because of Biden's withdrawal recklessly, I think, from Afghanistan.
Well, yeah. If there's any one metaphor for the Biden presidency, it's that plane taking off of Afghanistan with people literally trying to jump on the wheels and get out of because they know what's coming. They know what the Taliban is going to do when they leave. I mean, that's a picture of what a disaster this administration has been. I do not know. I did talk to a couple colleagues. I think it may have been a guest of one of our colleagues who served our country and sacrificed tremendously for our country. But other than that, I don't know, and particularly the comparison between, what may have happened to him versus these crazy protesters on the Palestinian and the Gaza issue.
Congressman, what do you think about going forward, the prospects of whether Joe Biden's actually going to stand on stage and debate against Donald Trump? Do you think that he'll be pushed into it, or you think he's going to be able to try to avoid this thing?
I think the latter. I think there's little to no chance that he does it because, President Trump, you guys talk to him a lot too. I talk to him all the time. He is as sharp as they come. He's a competitor. I just don't see that in Biden. I see him I just don't see it. So I think he probably doesn't. But you never know. You never know. But my gut tells me they're going to figure out a way to keep him. Kind of the campaign they ran the last time. They used COVID as an excuse last time. I'm not sure what they'll do this time, but they'll probably say President Trump is, they're going to say he's so bad or something we shouldn't be on the stage with him when we know that there should be a debate. But I don't think he does it. I think he stays away.
Jeff, what would you tell the president? I know you talk to the president all the time, and I know that he's weighing who his vice president should be. You talked about all the Senate candidates. Obviously, we're hoping to flip there. Who do you think the president should be considering as vice president to put together the best possible ticket if it's Biden-Kamala?
Well, I think Tim Scott's great. I think Elisa's great. She's one of our colleagues. She does a great job as our conference chair. I really like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She gave the response a year ago, and I thought she knocked it out of the park particularly the line when she said the divide in America today is normal versus crazy, and then listed all the crazy things that the left now has made mainstay in the Democrat Party. So I like all of those and a bunch of others I'm forgetting now. But let's never forget, this is a race between Joe Biden and President Trump, President Biden and President Trump. That's how these things are decided, the guy at the top of the ticket. And I think when people look at all the great things President Trump got done, did what he said he was going to do, and did it when everyone in this town was against him. Never forget in 2017, every stinking Democrat was against him. Everyone in the mainstream press was against him. Half the Republicans were against him. And maybe most importantly, all the federal bureaucrats were against him. And yet he got done so many things with that headwind. I think this is race. Obviously it's going to be Trump versus Biden, and that's what people are going to decide on. And they remember what things were like just 3 years and 48 days ago. I think they're going to be strongly for President Trump.
Congressman Jim Jordan, right about everything today except single men who eat ice cream by themselves. Congressman, we appreciate you, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Take care, guys. Keep it up.